Live with Tao. Life, a celebration, not a suffering. Life is not meant to be a suffering. It is a festival, a celebration, peak of joy. But that is only in poetry, in dreams, in philosophies. Sometimes a Buddha, a Krishna, or a Jesus appears to be in deep celebration, but they look like exceptions. Really, it is unbelievable, not real, just an ideal situation. It seems they never happen. The celebration is our wish fulfillment, myths, dreams and hopes, but not realities. The reality seems to be our face, bored, in anguish, and with suffering engraved on it. And whole life is just goes on carrying somehow. Why does this happen? And this must not be the basic reality of life. It cannot be. Because this happens only to man. The trees, the stars, the animals, the birds, nowhere else does it happen. Except for man, nobody is bored. And even if sometimes pain happens, it is momentary. It never becomes an anguish. It never becomes a constant obsession or phenomenon. It is not always on the mind. It is momentary thing, an accident. Remember, anybody can be in pain. Animals can be in pain, but they are not suffering. There are two things, pain and suffering. You must know the difference between pain and suffering. What is the difference between pain and suffering? We have to understand this, the difference between pain and suffering. Pain is a natural phenomenon. It is natural. It is natural to life, but not suffering. There is a difference between pain and suffering. Pain, which is natural part of life, and suffering arises out of our reaction to the pain. Our reaction to the pain. Pain is physical sensation, while suffering is psychological interpretation or attachment to the pain. Suffering is optional, it is psychological, as it stems from our desire to avoid the pain or our resistance to it. Pain is a fundamental aspect of existence, a physical sensation that arises because of the bodily changes or injuries. It is simply a signal, a natural occurrence. It may bring some changes. Suffering, on the other hand, is not inherent in the experience of pain. It arises because of our internal interpretation of pain, our resistance to it, our reactions to it, our desire for it to be absent. What causes this? Desire and attachment plays a significant role in creating suffering. Desires and attachment creates a significant role in creating sufferings. We suffer because we desire the absence of pain. When it arises, we react to the pain negatively. Suffering is not inevitable. By accepting pain as a natural part of life and without resisting it, we can release the suffering that often accompanies the pain. I will explain the relationship between pain and suffering also with an example. Pain and suffering often resonate with mindfulness practice. By being present with the pain without judging or resisting it, we can move towards a state of greater peace and equanimity. If you don't grow, pain will not be there. But suffering will be. And that is the difference between suffering and pain. Pain is beautiful because it has the potentiality to grow, like the pain during the pregnancy, during the time of childbirth is natural. It is beautiful because it has a potential to grow. After the maternity pain, the woman gives birth to a child. So in a way, pain is beautiful because it has a potential to grow, and it is something on the way. Suffering is ugly, impotent, barren, and nothing comes out of it. I take an example. Suppose a young girl, a beautiful young girl, inflicts upon her skin burn wounds. So she gets the burn on certain parts of her body which are not visible, and certain wounds are inflicted upon the part that is exposed. There is a wound. Depending on the intensity of the wound will take time to heal. So there is a wound on the certain parts of the body, like forearms and so. She can keep it covered. If it is on legs and thighs, it can be kept covered, so it will not be exposed. But the wounds that are there on the face, that will be visible to the people. So now the wound has been inflicted. Depending on their intensity and gravity, the healing will take time. It may cure quickly, it may take a little time, but it will certainly be cured. But along with this pain, there comes a suffering. A suffering is psychological. Now, that has changed something on her face. They has brought some scars on her face. The face that was smooth and beautiful becomes to her ugly. This will create a psychological infliction upon her, and it will make her suffer. She can come out of the pain quickly, the wounds will be healed as quickly, but this psychological pain, that is suffering, she will not be able to come out of it again. It will remain deep within her, on her psychology, and it will affect her total behavior and everything, because now she feels that she is ugly and no one will like her. When it comes to, and no matter how much you try to convince her that physical beauty is not as important as the beauty of the inner, But it has been ingrained on our minds that the physical beauty is very important, but it will not convince her. Her suffering will take a very long time. It is psychological. Now, this is two situations. The difference between, because of certain circumstances and situation, if that person develops a confidence in her, she starts focusing on her inner qualities. Psychologically, she can overcome that suffering which is inflicted upon her because of the burned wounds. Sometimes it happens in life. There are people around me that I know in life they have undergone pain of relationships, but there was deep within a kind of a trust that these are temporary phases of life. Temporary phases of life. Someone else is guiding my destiny. I am being guided in a mysterious way. Then she or he will not be suffering because of that pain. So there is a direct relationship between pain and suffering. Pain is basic and natural, and suffering is something that is imposed on it by different means. Some of them have mentioned that all along they had the pain inflicted upon their lives because of the breakup of the relationships or some other factors, but it did not. There was a deep within some kind of a satiation and fulfillment. These are the temporary phases. I am being guided by some forces that I know not, but there was no suffering. Trees are not in suffering. Trees seems that there is no anguish, not that death does not happen to them. Everything happens. So I will come to that point differently, but in a technical manner. Trees are not in suffering, they are not in anguish, not that death does not happen to them, death happens, but it is not a problem for them. Not that the painful experience is not there. They are there. Not they don't become life itself. Just on the periphery, it happens and disappears. Deep down in the inner core, they remain celebrating. The leaves fall during the autumn system. Leaves fall during the autumn system. The tree becomes bare. And the inner celebration continues. The tree goes in hibernation for some time, because it is a natural process guided by the unconscious and subconscious in a different manner than in the human being. When the problem comes in your life, the things start, you are a tree, suppose. You have the business around, you have the money, you have prosperity, you have family, you have children, you have everything. But slowly and slowly the autumn comes in your life, things start falling. The wife falls, the husband falls as a leaf, if we consider them as a leaf on the tree that you are. They start falling. And then autumn comes in your life. There is nothing, you are bare, standing alone. Nothing there. It inflicts upon you suffering, pain, suffering. And you cannot cope with this. You will break down. The tree does not break down. Tree considers it as a natural process. Tree is not affected by when the leaves fall, because then it goes into the hibernation and it comes back with the new foliage, a complete renewal of life. I recall very clearly, not clearly, that particular 2 lines couplet is ingrained in my memory. It is never written. My father wanted me to study the science or the science subjects, because in India somehow or the other only 2 professions were considered as prestigious, basically the doctor, the engineer, or you can go in administrative services. That was also equally of the same. So with that you will become the district magistrate, collector, or you will enter into foreign services as ambassadors and so. And the next category was the officers in the banking industry. So he said that you have to study. So my inclination was not towards the medical field, so engineering. He did his best to do that he could, made all his efforts, not knowing the capability and interest of the person. So I was admitted after the secondary school into the college to study the science subjects. I failed 3 times. Each time I insisted upon that I have no interest in science subject. I want to study sociology, psychology, and English literature. He said, what you will do with that? What kind of a job will you get with that? Because his understanding was quite narrow. People are there who have used those subjects and qualified for administrative services, like, the highest public service commission. So then it happened, 3 years it happened. Then my uncle, the Sufi master, wrote me a letter. And in that very short paragraph, at the end of the paragraph, there was a couplet. शायद खिज़ां से हो कोई नई सूरत बहार की, कुछ मसलहत इसी में है मेरे परवरदिगार की. शायद means perhaps. शायद खिज़ां means autumn. खिज़ां से हो कोई नई, कोई means any. सूरत means shape or form. Of bahar means spring. शायद खिज़ां से हो कोई नई सूरत बहार की, कुछ मसलहत इसी में है मेरे परवरदिगार की. Maslahat means wish. Parvardigar is word referred to Almighty God or whatever name you call for him. Kuch maslahat isi mein mere Parvardigar ki. This moment that has come in my life, that I have failed in BSc, all the leaves have fallen, all hope. The leaves are symbolic of hopes. The aspirations and everything has fallen. My hopes, the hopes of my parents about his son, that he will become the big officer, a doctor, an engineer, and high post. So all those leaves of the hopes have fallen. And with that, the season of autumn has come in my life. शायद खिज़ां से हो कोई नई सूरत बहार की. May autumn bring a new portrayal to the spring. Each time when autumn comes, it is followed by spring, and it brings a new portrayal to the tree. After the hibernation, tree goes into a process of introspection, we can say. If it happens, an individual, after the downfall in a particular job or a business, he goes into the process of introspection and he emerges out of that as a spring in life. That happens. Spring, the season of spring in life comes in. So he used the word perhaps very significantly. Perhaps the autumn may bring a new portrayal to the spring. And then as an assurance, what is the wish of my Master, my Lord, my God, my Father, or whatsoever it is, in this I know not. शायद खिजा से हो कोई नई सूरत बहार की कुछ मसले. He did not say, I know not. He said, what is the wish? There must be some secret wish of the God Almighty in this, to bring the season of autumn in my life. And it may bring, nobody knows, perhaps it can transform into a season of spring. May this be the wish of the Lord. And you understand this. You understand this. Thereafter, this has become my insignia in life, my watchword, very important aspect of my life. Many times afterwards, such situations came when everything seems to be falling apart, nothing remaining. Then the things have gone into hibernation, period of introspection came. Thereafter, the season of spring came back. So this continues, happens in life, just as day comes and night comes. So period of hibernation is like a period of introspection, a meditative insights into the life and all the process. So it is, the tree goes on celebrating deep within. Although on the surface during autumn all leaves have fallen, the tree is standing bare. It is a process. If the tree remains full of leaves, and when it remains with the leaves, then during this winter season, the snow will fall, the snow will stay there, and it will cause more damage to the tree. But because all the leaves have fallen, the stems have fallen, tree stands like a bare stem, so the snow does not stay on it, it simply slips off. Leaves have fallen and it surrounds the tree. What the snow falls, when season of spring begins, the snow begins to melt. With that, the leaves that have fallen, they decompose and become the fertilizer for the tree. It nourishes the tree and gives it a new life. This is how things go on in life. But we understand this as far as the tree is considered. We consider this natural, but when it comes to the human life, it requires a deep understanding, a meditative understanding, because man has consciousness. Tree is not as conscious as man. So we use consciousness in a negative way, not to bring about transformation or change in our lives. The man has been given a great opportunity to use such moments to create a difference to understand the difference between pain and suffering, and do not fall into the suffering, do not attach it to, go through the pain of the problems in life, and know that this too will pass. Nothing will remain stationary in life. Nothing remains stationary. This too will pass. If you make this your life breath or your life force, this too will pass. This moment is there today. And from then, every moment my life is, I don't know what is going to happen next moment, but there is a trust. This too will pass. Nothing will go wrong. Life will move. It may be a little bit bumpy ride at times, but in that bumpy ride there comes an unshakable trust in your own capabilities and in that guides you every moment. Life continues like that. So remember, it is the consciousness that is given to a man. You can allow this consciousness to fall. It operates through the mind. You fall, the moment you fall from the mind, then you fall from the level of consciousness as well to subconscious and unconscious layers. If you go beyond the mind, you go beyond consciousness, you use the consciousness as the wings to go beyond the mind, then you enter into the realm of superconsciousness. You enter into the realm of awakening, and that is Buddhahood. So Buddha is not suffering. He is in tremendous pain. Osho was not suffering, but he was pain inflicted upon him because of the poison in the form of thallium given to him while he was in US prison. That has afflicted. It happens. All that things happen that have effect on the body as pain, as the wounds, but they can be healed. But if upon this you allow suffering to be painted, suffering to create a coating over the wound, then neither the wound will heal nor the suffering will disappear. So suffering comes like a coating of the paint on the wound, and with that coating of the suffering on the wound, the natural tendency, the wound, in order to heal first, the process of healing, the doctor uses the medicine to fill it so that the bacteria and so does not grow. And when it has happened, then it begins to dry. Then the surgeon or the physician leaves the wound open so that it dries out faster. So that is a natural process of the healing of the wound. So, but if there is a coating of the suffering, a layer of suffering over it, then the natural tendency, when the forces of the nature, the air, the sunlight and other things, basically it is the air that helps to heal the wound faster after a certain stage. So in the beginning, a human effort is needed for healing the wound, and after that it has to be left open to the natural forces to come and act upon and complete the process of healing. This is a simple process of healing, of curing the wound, and you have to understand such is our life. Sometimes the wounds are inflicted by a particular relationship, but you have to use whatever treatment, ointment and form of the medicine that you need. After that, you have to allow it to go through the natural process in the second step of the healing of the wound. Wound heals in few steps. The first step is properly cleaning it. So it is, you need someone who can help you to clean your wound. When the wound is cleaned, then medicine is put, whatever is necessary to put. So this is the balm, the words or something, an energy field. And after that, sometime the wound is left open to undergo through the natural process of healing, and finally it is healed, and you have not allowed the coating of suffering over it, a layer of suffering over it. So the wound will naturally heal in due course of time, and your skin, your life will become natural, ready to continue the life with a new vigor, new enthusiasm, new spirit. Enough for now.